I just want to introduce myself. My name is Michael Pardy, and I'm an associate programmer with SEEfest, which opens today and runs through May 4th. And I'm here today with the co-directors of DIDA, Corina, Schwingruber-Ilić, and Nikola Ilić. I hope I got that right. And I just want to tell you that I really enjoyed your film. Before we get into it, I just want to quote from some of the program notes to kind of contextualize this a little bit. So 15 years ago, Nikola left Serbia to follow his heart to Switzerland. So his heart is you, Corina, right? Since then, his life is shared between 2 countries and 3 women, his mother, DIDA, his grandmother, and his wife. His mother has learning disabilities and has been dependent on grandmother ever since. As grandmother is getting older, Belgrade is now calling Nikola back home. He can't let his mother down, but he doesn't want to give up his life in Switzerland. This forces him to face a moral dilemma. How can he help his mother live a life of independence without losing his own? So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and there's so much more to that. But what I want to ask you, Nikola and Corina, I found DIDA such a wonderfully sweet, sad, joyful film, so full of warmth and love and beautifully rendered. And it's such a personal film. So can you tell me more about the film in general? You might want to add to what I said, what I quoted, and tell me about the events that shaped it and what drove you to share it with a wider public. Why did you choose to make this particular film?
Well, it all happened almost a decade ago, like almost 10 years now. My mom, DIDA, she had cancer. And it wasn't really good. The doctor said she's going to live for 6 months. And then I decided I have to catch this moment before she's gone. And I started filming for myself. I never thought it's going to be a movie. And from that moment on, we had these morning rituals with grandmother and mother drinking coffee and brandy. We drink brandy in the morning, one for the good day. And and then it went on. DIDA went through, and then after a few years, Corina thought maybe we could make a movie, and I didn't thought it was a good idea because it's really personal and it's really I didn't saw it, and then we started doing some workshops. We were a part of Ex Oriente workshop in Prague, which is a part of the Institute for Documentary Film in Prague. And then we went kind of deeper and deeper. And then at some point, like maybe 3 or 4 years into filming, was clear that we're going to make this movie. And since then, it was a ride. I mean, the whole thing was kind of life shaped the movie from the big starting on. It kind of enrolled. And then we got, we applied in Switzerland. It's a Swiss production. And we got the money, and then it was clear now we have to make the movie.
Wow.
So we were just shooting and observing our life and the DIDA's life, and
yeah. But maybe to say, because the basic idea first was to make a movie about the symbiosis between DIDA and Baba, because we realized that they can't live without each other. So, and in one moment, one of them is going to die. We have to step into the story. So we first wanted to make a movie about the symbiosis between them. And then throughout these development workshops, people told us that it's more interesting also to put our angle inside. I could escape a bit. Yeah. So in the end, Nikola had to put his head on it much more than I did. And we even wanted to make the movie without the voiceover first. So, but during the editing, we realized that there has to be a voiceover. And then first it was like, should it be a conversation between him and me about how we handle the situation? But then we didn't like this idea. So we really thought, okay, it's on Nikola, because that's the deepest story we can tell and the most emotional part. So yeah, so this came really in the end, that it was so personal and with this voiceover and so on.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
I was trying just to escape this going in front of the camera, because I was never in my life in front of the camera. So Also giving my voice. I find it really nice, but at the end there's a lot of, after a lot of feedbacks and a lot of people and workshops, it was kind of clear we had to do this. And yeah, I mean, I even tried to quit it a few times, but luckily I have Corina, so she kind of kicked my ass to come back.
He had also 3 women in the back of the production, like me as a co-director, then the editor and the producer. So he was always around women pushing him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
eventually the whole production of the movie is just like more than 10 women and I eventually, but it's good. I mean,
Yeah. No, I was wondering as I was watching, and I watched it again last night before the interview because I wanted to, have some semi-intelligent questions to ask you. And I thought, I wonder if this started as just you recording some personal events, and then along the way it morphed into, a film you wanted to show in public. But along with that, as you told me, you were also going to document the relationship. So you had planned for a documentary about the relationship between your grandmother and your mom.
yeah, I mean, it was more like I wanted to find out who my mom really was, and I wanted to get to open up this kind of conversation between us, because I really thought she's gonna die. So I really started doing these talks with her, and of course I mean, I filmed with them since a long time. Since I was a kid, I filmed, so they really are like natural in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So, but I never planned to make the movie. I really didn't. It was just kind
In
of
the very beginning, not, but then.
yeah. After a few years, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But,
And we maybe also.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because DIDA really likes to be filmed. I also filmed them like on my final movie for film school. So they really like to be filmed. And because Nikola didn't really have a connection to her, it was kind of the bridge to get to her, I would say, because you like to do camera, she likes to be filmed. So that was a kind of a common hobby or something
a
in the beginning.
ritual we had
Yeah.
every day.
Well,
But
I'm surprised to hear that you didn't have a connection with her, and maybe you can go into that a little bit, but I guess I'm surprised because, I mean, obviously I know that your grandmother really raised you.
Yeah.
And your mother was certainly there, but in my words, she was more like a sister, maybe.
Exactly.
But throughout, both of you, and for you, Corina, stepping into a situation that you didn't necessarily have to step into, and to do it so openly and wonderfully. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that there's so much patience and love for your mother that I would have thought that this was, that you knew it intimately for a long time. I mean, obviously you did on one level, but what you're saying now is that this was really a vehicle to understand her more. And
yeah, because I thought, for a long time I thought she could be independent, that she has something inside of her, some part that is kind of hidden and locked, and I have the key to unlock it.
Sure.
And then to this movie, I thought, and I really believed in it, that I can make her, do things, but she's really limited in some parts, and she is as she is special. And now I'm quite clear it's not possible, but I thought always, that's why when I'm saying to get her know her better, to get this inside of her out, and she opened up, of course, a bit, but she has something that she makes her that she is, and she doesn't want to, she can't open up. I mean, kind of
right. Yeah. As you tell her at one point, you tell her that she's very smart, that she just can't do things, which is obvious throughout the film, but she approaches all the moments that happen to her in such a childlike, and I want to say joyful, but it's more than that. So it's there's so many moments when she's taken sort of unawares, like seeing something for the first time, when obviously she's seen those things before, whether it's the stray dogs or feeding ducks or or whatever. And one of the perceptive things that I noted was that whatever her limited capabilities about living alone, she's also very perceptive, because when she was staying with you, and there's a scene where you two are in bed and she's visiting you. I forget if she's visiting you or you're staying there, but anyway, she's in the other bedroom and you've sort of had it. and you're just talking about it. You're very, very frustrated, and you don't know how long this can last. And the next morning, apparently, she says it's time for her to go. She wants to get out of the way. So I think she's very, and then she seems very much in control of events and emotions and knows where she wants to go. I mean, obviously, when she gets back home or on her own, there are other.
The other DIDA, yeah, she has the character, exactly. That's why once I
have to clean the camera, it's nerving me, sorry.
We have
hey, that is better, actually.
You see?
It was a fingerprint of a child on it. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Once I did a small experiment, and I left DIDA in our living room in our flat and left recording, and I said, I'm going to take a shower, and because it was at that moment was an issue. Is it kleptomanic? You say kleptomanic, like stealing stuff?
Yeah, kleptomania.
Yeah, or not? Because I know she takes stuff from the street and from the as you saw in the movie, from the graveyard. She steals plastic flowers. But I wasn't sure that she steals at others, like money or whatever. So I left my money, my wallet open with some money inside, and I left to take a shower. And you can hear me walking away, and the shower curtains, and then and she was sitting as DIDA is sitting, and as soon as you hear the water, she's like totally like the body movement is different, and she's like becoming this kind of investigator, and she's like now I'm gonna do this and that, and then she checked the whole my wallet. She didn't took anything, but she checked it out through all the cards and stuff, and then she walk out from the frame and doing something, then goes to the frame there and moves like totally different moves. And then when I came back, she was the old DIDA. So that for me was this experiment. I mean, just to Corina and me saw it. I thought this, this is something that she has inside. She has this. I mean, 2 characters, maybe more. I don't know.
I think a lot of characters, because I mean, everybody of us has different characters.
No, absolutely.
I think it's not only her, but she really knows how to play with it, and she's a really great actress. I mean, that's why we always thought she could do more than she's behaving. And I mean, it's really hard to catch her, and I still didn't catch her. I think you neither. I think nobody catched her until now, but like who she really is. But in the end, you had to find peace with what you got from her and how she's now. Now she has these grandchildren, and she's again a completely different person with the grandchildren. So it's really, it's something going on all the time.
So. Yeah, you speak of the grandchildren. When you brought your firstborn to meet DIDA, and she was so intimate and wonderful and tender with the baby, which we hadn't seen. Not that she wasn't tender before, but it's with the baby, her grandchild. And I thought, boy, this is the way she was with Nikola, probably. And then, did you think that? Did you think, gee, my mom was this way with me? And then having kids, you realize, at least I realized when I had kids, it's so intimate and nonstop, especially before they're 1 year old. You realize, my God, my parents were so attentive for so long. And so you realize what your grandmother did for you. You realize what DIDA did for you in whatever capacity she could. So did that bring a greater appreciation for you for both your grandmother and DIDA?
Sure.
I think, but we knew, I mean, the grandmother always told us story how she took care of Nikola and that she prepared everything. So when DIDA came home from work, Nikola was fed and well dressed, so DIDA could go for a walk with him. And so we knew this already before, that this worked well. This symbiosis was from always there. So
the symbiotic bond was always there between the 2 of them, and it was always this. I asked my grandmother, did DIDA ever change my diapers? She never did. So but she was there. I mean, this emotional on the emotional level, she's totally having a lot of love. I mean, you can see this in the movie.
And she only has love to you and to the to dogs. And that's really like Nikola is her everything. Like she's really like so focused on him, and it's really and she has a lot of love for you, but for the rest of the world she doesn't care.
Well, that's it. It's there's a scene of you showing her how to clean the cabinet in the kitchen, and you're cleaning it, and you say, look at the difference, and you can tell she says, you know, it's just not on her list of things to do, and she says it in such a happy manner that you never get angry with her, or you know, I measure the times you must, you know, I don't know. But it's so delightful. Did you know as you were filming, you know, because obviously the subjects that are faced are very, you know, very hard, very deep, very, you know, serious matter, but everything is so kind of light. And did you know how much humor and love were coming through as you were doing it, or did you kind of discover that when you were watching and editing it? Or
I think we had a great editor, which she knows us for years. She was our teacher in school, and she knows our previous movies a lot, so she knows about our humor and how we like to have films. And we knew that we don't want to make this film heavy, because there are so many heavy films about this topic and mother-son relationship, and we knew that this is going to be, our film is going to be different, because we knew about this, that there is this humor. But for me, it was really, actually, when we first showed the movies to people, like especially in the Balkans, I realized how touchy it is. Actually, we weren't that touched, but our editor really felt these things from the outside, but for us it was too close, I think, to get it. And then when we saw people crying after the movie and coming to thank us for this story, and we were really like, ooh, that's crazy.
no, it's great. I wish I could have seen this in an audience, because I could have gotten a sense of if they were feeling what I was feeling, or maybe there was more humor than even I thought, or maybe I was laughing at the wrong moments. I don't know.
There are no moments to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, Corina always says, you know, we should have, the audience should also have a bit of fun. But we also reflect, as you say, really important subjects, and this tragic drama, or like tragic and comedy, they are always kind of in our movies, you know. Also in our short movies, we always, they are the main spices in our movies, if I can say it.
Yeah, and I mean, we had like 200 hours of material. We really had a lot of hours, and we could really put DIDA in a much worse light. Like, we could really show her very unsympathetically, or also one edit we had that Nikola was kind of very not like really nice to watch, but we really wanted to make that people, that DIDA is becoming a small star, and that she gets her place, and that it's to show that things can be solved with humor and laugh, even though maybe it was not always funny, but in the main way, how we work and how we are, it's the way how we do it. And we really wanted to show this to the audience. And also we said ourselves, we won't film anything or put anything on scene, which we wouldn't do if the camera wouldn't be on. Like, for example, people told us, Nikola should meet his father, you know, it would be interesting for the movie, but he didn't feel like meeting him. So we also didn't do this because of the movie. So for us, this was very important to only do things with DIDA also, which we would do anyway, also without the camera and not for the film.
Yes,
to observe our life, not to stage stuff. If you don't have to.
Stuff.
Yeah. I wondered about that, but it didn't appear to me that anything was, you know, invented or staged. You know, I thought the music was really wonderful too. I thought it really set the tone. So was the music composed specifically for the film?
Exactly, yeah. Our friend Heidi Happy, she's go ahead. So this is Cleo from the movie.
Hi, Claire. I've known you since you were an infant.
Yeah, she's yeah, our friend Priska Zemp, aka Heidi Happy, she composed the music, and it was I mean, we had a lot of versions. We went from the smooth jazz to whatever to come to this what we have. And yeah, I mean, we always work with her. Most of our movies we cooperate with her, and we are really lucky that the music was how you say, nominated for a Swiss Film Award, which
Oh,
is
was
like
it?
our Swiss Oscars kind of.
Oh,
So we are
great.
really happy that it kind of works, because we
I
really look at for a long time. We were like, she wasn't happy, we weren't happy. As I said, I think she composed maybe like 50 pieces or something. It was a long process here, and like a ping pong here and there, and then eventually we got this. So it's, yeah.
it just really helps set a tone. I'm not going to describe what tone I think it sets, but and I hope people who watch this have already seen the film, because I don't want to, I want them to come to it with fresh eyes, their own eyes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away, but were your grandmother and your mom always so open about being filmed, or did they sometimes say enough of this, or did you have a free hand where, maybe you're always filming the family? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I when I was a kid, now already 30 years ago or more, I used to make skate films because I was a skateboarder, and I played in some bands. So I was always, when I had a camera filming, I made this. I don't know, should I call it like pre-jackass stuff? I mean, and I made some funny stuff with them, and since then I always filming. I was making small experimental films, so they were always kind of a part of this. I also made a film, a film festival trailer from a big festival from Switzerland with them, and as Corina said, she also made one for her movie. So yeah, they were always filmed, and they are so like used kind of that I film.
Yeah, but I mean, they never had a problem with us
No, they
filming.
never,
It
no.
was more that when we stopped filming, when the film was finished, that DIDA was like, "Why are you not filming anymore?"
She was afraid. What's wrong?
Plus, of course, we had more the problem to film ourselves, and especially in the very bad moments, or when there was a lot of stress, or when DIDA did something she shouldn't have done. Nikola was really stressed and angry, and then sometimes I wanted to film him, but he really was so like, he didn't have the nerves to be filmed, or me neither. So that was a bit the main problem of the movie, that we had not we didn't have conflicts for the movie, and that was always a big topic in editing, like how can we get the deepness and the conflicts, and mostly we got them now by voiceover. And yeah, because we really, that was the main problem for the film, for the material.
Well, certainly the dilemmas that you have to face are evident and clear,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something else. It just went out of my mind.
I'm sorry, the children are
Claire is around.
confusing.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We can come. Well, as far as that goes, is there any, in retrospect, as you've seen the film a few times now and been living with it, is there anything that you think, gee, I wish we'd put that scene in, or I wish we'd taken that scene out? Is there anything?
Of course, I mean, it's always like this. I still kind of, for me, it's still, I mean, I should say boring, but kind of some parts that we would kick out.
No, I wouldn't kick them out, but I'm always like, oh, the poor audience has to watch this part now and this part now. But if we would have to put out, no, I would put out some voiceover stuff. I would really make it a bit, but yeah, I mean, I think now when we got all these good feedbacks, it's easier to accept the movie as it is. I think if we wouldn't have get so many good feedbacks, we would be more critical with it, but now we are just so happy it's done and never again.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we did our personal stuff. I recall the premiere on Vision du Réel in Nyon, and it was like industry Corona time, just like 20 people in the audience, or 30, just industry people, and iron atmosphere, no reaction, zero. And I thought, this is I mean, I always said, we have a movie, we have the work, like a decade, like somebody makes a portrait of them, like them standing there, big painting. We have the movie, so it's okay. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to go to any festival. And then some festivals later, we got this, I don't know, in Leipzig, this Golden Doe, and like people are like clapping 5 minutes. I never had this in my life. I felt really ashamed what to do there, and how people react, and how they they cherish the movie, you know, and then
Yes.
then it becomes clear because it's too many hours, too long, and too much in front of your nose that you can judge is this good or not. I mean,
You're right. No,
somehow.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've got to ask, how is DIDA now? What is?
She's good. She was the other day here. We have a new lady. I mean, new woman that take care of her, and and she I mean, she just walks the dog and eats and has fun. She has
Yeah.
an easy life. It's
But
all
she's in
covered.
Belgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
are
And
now
so,
at the moment, that's our
We
balcony in Belgrade.
we
So
are now
our life also changed a bit. We live now part-time in Belgrade. So because of her, but also because of other projects we have here. So she's now happy that we are here spending at least 4 or 5 months a year here. And she
yeah.
comes to visit us every few days in the morning, drinks coffee with us, complaining a bit still that she's alone, but I mean, we tried everything for her making friends, but she doesn't want friends. So it's like, but she's kind of really much more relaxed now as she knows that she's not anymore the number one for Nikola, because now of the 2 children we have, she understands a lot that we don't
no,
have so much time for her anymore.
and I think this, you know, becoming a grandmother for her, she became really like a grandmother a bit. So this is kind of, she's much more, I should say adult, but much more grandmothery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if she gets lonely, you could always invite the Jehovah Witnesses back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, she said they don't come, you know, at her place, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to ask you. Just a general question. How is working together, and were your processes different because you work together, or I guess just how did you work together and bounce things off one another as co-directors?
Well,
You
it's
know, at least Corina, at least you could step back a little bit, because you're part of the story, obviously, but you're not so intimately involved in the way that Nikola is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very much in the process and in the editing, but not in the film, of course. In the film, I could take myself a bit out, but in the editing, I was much more involved than Nikola, because for him, it was too close to all the, and when we work together, I'm the more the one for dramaturgy and editing, and he's more for the camera work.
Mm-hmm.
But in this project, of course, I also had to take over the camera to film
Yeah,
you.
it was a bit mixed. I mean, we started some years ago, like, I don't know, let's say 6 films back, or I don't know, 10
Films,
years,
yeah.
short films, yeah, back. And we made like, it was the first work we did, it was called Down on a Corner. We went in a village, filming a corner of a village, and stayed there for a week. And we didn't ask any questions, but got a lot of answers at the end. And we did a co-camera and co-directing, and it was horrible. We had fights and it didn't work anything. And you know, she wanted that way, I wanted this way. And after a few crises, a few kind of crisis meetings, we said, listen, you can film from morning till 2 o'clock, then you walk away, and I'll film from then on. And whatever, you do whatever you want. We didn't talk about the concept, and we were like we just have to stay married, you know, and then it's okay. And eventually we did the movie, and it kind of had some festival life, and it worked. And then we got the residency in Cairo, where we lived for half year. And we had, each of us had an idea for a short movie, but somehow we ended up again doing after this first one, we said we will never do it again. But then, as I said, again, we came together, because it's really hard to film in Cairo, in streets of Egypt. So we did the same thing, but this time I was filming and Corina was more editing. And this was it was still crawling and stuff, but it worked much better. And and then we did some other movies, and now it really works good. I mean, I do this visual work, and she does more editing. I mean, of course, we talk about everything, and if you do the co-directing in that way. But now we have 2 short projects that we're gonna do. And I do all the DOP of her short movie, and she's going to be editor of my movie. So it's now it kind of works. We have creative fights. That's kind of good.
Well, those are good to have. And so so the projects you're working on, are these mostly documentaries or?
Yeah. We just do documentaries.
Documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Corina did a movie called All Inclusive, which was really a big success. I don't know, did you look up in the bio? But it had like 300 festivals, and starting from Venice on to all festivals you can imagine eventually. And it's about the cruise business. We filmed the cruises, like ocean wide cruises, and the people having fun on them. And where do we go as human race, just having fun with our golden, thing that you can drink for free on a cruise and have fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, and now she makes a movie about the tourism, mass tourism on the soil. So throughout these festivals, we filmed everywhere around the world. So we have now, she's in editing phase, and I'm doing a short movie about people playing war in a way that, or people fascinated with guns. I found this really odd. So I'm still kind of not in editing, but I'm in developing phase. But yeah.
And are some of these films and your future films, are they eventually available on streaming services, or how are they distributed?
Perhaps, I believe so. But we always try to do. I mean, it's all changing now, the cinema and video demand and stuff. But we always try to do festival life at least 1 year, and then we sell it to TV or whatever, if it works with TV, of course.
Yeah. Well, we're almost running out of time. Is there anything you would like to say, or something that you wanted to get out, or something I haven't asked that you want to?
No, it was easy. I really like it. It was like an easy conversation. So
no, that's what I wanted to have. Listen, I really, really loved the film. And I loved your family. I love the fact that it started and ended in a graveyard, on All Saints Day, which, although it's in a graveyard, was really kind of a joyous family dinner with the guest of honors, the deceased. So it really was.
Yeah, it's really the sweetest. I recall two things. First thing is like the sarma. It's like wrapped cabbage, like with meat inside.
Yeah, you were making it
on the graveyard. It's the finest. I mean, it's really, I don't know, it's something. And also, when I was a kid, we used to steal cherries from the tree, like sweet cherries. And these cherries from the tree was like the nicest ever. You can get them in the shop and stuff, but these ones that you go jump the fence and get it from your neighbor was just kind of the finest. So this is something that, special.
Well, that is special. Well, I guess we'll have to close. So I'm going to sign off and thank you so much. I encourage everybody to see this film, and it's a delight, and it's more than a delight. Words. You got to see the film. So thank you so much, and good luck with everything, and good luck with the kids, and say hi to DIDA for me.
We will. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.